Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. From the recording from the sunny climes of Ken Carroll, Colorado. Colby, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Just ducky. So, I'll have to start off by saying that I'm impressed with Bridgewater. I was very happy for his performance. Very, very, very happy. I'm pulling for both quarterbacks. Honestly, I want both. I'd like the Broncos to have two good quarterbacks. I also want to apologize. I did not get the Teddy Bridgewater stuff because I was just inundated with work. And I'm really worried about this season, about getting film, because some personal things going on in my life. I'm going to have to kind of scramble around a little bit for depending on how things go out. But getting time, it's very time consuming to not just sit and watch, but to actually do the editing, voiceover, and everything else. So I have to apologize for that. So this will just have to be thrown on the fly. So my takeaway of this is that there is some hope. When I see the first string Broncos beat up on second stringers, maybe the Broncos can compete at least. If this is where I think where the rubber is going to meet the road, when the Broncos start meeting first string opponents and things don't go well, whether it's Block, whether it's Bridgewater, whether it's this greatest defense on earth, the greatest defense on earth, how are the Broncos going to respond to playing first stringers if things don't go like they do when they're playing second stringers in a preseason game? I thought, like I said, I was very happy for Bridgewater. I was very, very impressed with, the things he was doing. I was also impressed with Locke when, after his offensive line completely broke down, which, big no surprise here. We know that the depth is like inch deep. He was able to recover, get him down there, and they scored those just with seconds left. So I think one thing that I hope doesn't get lost in this preseason is Locke's resilience. Locke possesses resilience. We haven't seen Teddy have to struggle yet. The Minnesota Vikings really didn't put up any kind of fight. He had the first string here. So, why I think what I saw gives me optimism about, can they compete? That's the thing. Can they actually compete? I'm still skeptical less about the quarterbacks more than ever now. More skeptical about the lines. What will the lines do? Because even the first defensive line, it was what did our own Denver Bronco there, Chad Brown, say? He said this was a strip. It was a lot of coverage sacks. So, these quarterbacks, they're going to be getting rid of the ball one way or the other. So at least we know they're covering second stringers. But there's no push. I don't see the push up the middle, and that concerns me. I'm concerned about that. I'm pointing it out. It's there for everybody to see. They couldn't push the second tier guys. We can only imagine what's going to happen with the first. So, go take it away. I talked for a few minutes. Now it's your turn.
I think what you saw in this game is something I pointed out in the last video. Is I texted it to you, and it wasn't to say they sabotaged Locked, but they went away from the thing that he does quite well, and that's the tight end sets. From what I was seeing, they were running a lot of the 3 wide receiver sets with Locke, and with Bridgewater, they seem to be running the Rich Scangarello, Mike Munchak offense. To a certain degree. I don't want to act like we're queuing on here. But
what?
I know. Yeah, we're queuing on now. But
well, you got to get a 3-year. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying you have to get up pretty early in the morning to full old Colonel Klink there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that Javonte Williams. I'm going to talk about that later, but the quarterbacks. You clearly saw the difference with the first team offensive line and the second team offensive line, except for one player that I am continually going to put out that nobody's paying attention to, besides a few media outlets out there, and that's Natane Moody, who I'm becoming very impressed by with his performances. I think that what you saw, especially with that Teddy Bridgewater throw to Jerry Duty, um, um, Graham Glasgow is still struggling with being pushed back, and same with Lloyd Cushenberry. If you go back and watch that play to Jerry Jeudy, yes, they completed it, but again, I'm going to tell people this: we're going against second team players here, second string players. I want to see what this team does when they go against the Giants first team, when they go against the Ravens first team, when they go against the Steelers first team. I want to see whoever the starting quarterback is, whoever is playing our offensive line, whoever they're playing against. I want to see them going against first team players. Granted, I am happy from what I'm seeing from this Denver Broncos team, but again, I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet. Javonte Williams, again, looks like he had some rookie struggles today. With some of his plays. I think he was trying to bounce it outside more than running between the tackles, and I think that is rookie problems. I think that's what I saw out of the college film. He'd bounce it outside instead of bouncing it inside.
Well,
And
I
I
wouldn't
think
call
that
it bounce. I wouldn't say bouncing inside. I would say
well,
knowing your gaps.
he's doing what he's comfortable doing, and that's trying to go outside. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah.
I think that you saw a guy that has his rookie struggles. I think a guy that didn't have great vision that he did last week, because I didn't think the offense was getting that much of a running push. I think they're doing a lot more pass pro this game than running pro. That's basically what I saw. I don't want to go too off on a rant about it. I'll let you talk about a little bit more what you saw too, before I go and talk about the stuff I saw.
Well, obviously the rookie drop pass fight, Devontae. Yeah, it's preseason. I can live with a preseason drop as long as you're not doing that. But I am concerned about the balancing out because you've seen good running backs just like him come out who can't get it figured out in the A and B gaps, um, and they have that tendency to bounce. And what should have been a really good uh, I guess, appearance in the NFL turns, they just get shut down. But I think, I'm not going to just blame him. It's up to the coaching staff to coach that out of him and draw up plays that force him to take it up the middle. So I'm not going to blame him 100%. It has to come from the coaching staff. When it comes to the defense, I have no comment because they haven't played anybody really yet. I haven't seen the push. I mean, there were coverage sacks again. There was no, and we brought this up many times. Chad Brown, he said they're getting coverage sacks, but they're not getting that push. Those quarterbacks, they had time. If you think it was Aaron Rodgers. You thought it was him, Russell Wilson. You think that he's going to be throwing these easy to pick off passes or whatever. He's going to throw it away. He's not going to get a coverage sack. They're going to throw it out, if anything. But we didn't see their top receivers, their top tight ends. We didn't see any of that. So as far as this defense comes out, I think the world's best, the world's greatest show on turf kind of thing is it has to be seen. It's still, they haven't played anybody.
I think that you could say that with the offense too. If we're going to say that about the defense, I'm going to say that about the offense, because who have we played? I mean, we weren't going against Seattle's first team defense for 3-4 possessions. I mean, if we're gonna say that about the defense, then why can't we use that same logic with the offense? Just because the offense is scoring their opponents 50-6, that's a stat. Why can't why can't we apply that logic to the offensive side of the ball? I get it. People want to see what the quarterbacks have to offer and what other positions on that offense want to offer and what play designs that Pat Shermer's running up. But if we're going to apply that same thing with Vic Fangio, then why can't we apply that with the offense? I'm asking you. Why can't we apply the same logic to the offense?
Well, this is the thing for me is that at least because they are moving it and because they are scoring it, there is some hope. Some hope. I'm not saying that we can't apply it because where I'm skeptical, as you know, is the offensive line. How can they deal with top tier, first string defensive lines? I don't have really, I'm not hung up on either one of these quarterbacks. Like everybody's being brainwashed to look into. I think what we've seen so far, I think if you give them protection, adequate protection, they're not going to give the ball away. I think that if you give them adequate protection, somebody will get open for them. But then again, we have to talk about running. We have to talk about can they get the 3rd and 1? You know, one thing I saw I didn't like in the offense with that Bridgewater was running, and I saw too many 4th downs conversion. It happened to go, against the second team. The upside to it, that's the downside. The upside to it is maybe because the upside was they converted. And maybe that should give them a little bit more confidence to maybe go for it in certain situations. But there were quite a few. I think there maybe was one situation they may have gone for it if it was an actual game in the regular season. The others, I think they would have punted or dealt with it however they dealt with it. So I'm concerned when I saw those fourth and whatever. So I guess that's kind of my answer to your question is that I at least I got some hope, but I'm definitely skeptical about both lines, offensive line.
I'm skeptical in a way with the offense more than I am with the defense because I know what Vic Fangio is about. I know what he can drop, and he's made chicken shit out of he's made chicken shit out of chicken, like you know what I mean. The ref from what he's had the past 2-3 years. He's had shitty personnel and tried to do the best he can with it. With this defense per se, they're holding the second string, the third team, and I'm not talking about their starting. I'm talking about the second and third defenses with the Broncos holding their second and third team offenses with let's say the Vikings and the Seahawks. He's holding in the 3 to 5 points per game so far. I haven't looked at the score lately, but the last time I checked, it was like 30-5 or something like that, 27-5 or something like that. So I'm going to apply that to the defense because I get it. That was a coverage sack, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's good to see that we have linebackers that can kind of cover. If we're going to use that logic that was a coverage sack, hey, I'm going to use it because people are using it for the offense. I'm going to use it for the defense. It's good to see that we have a Justin Sturdad, neutralizing the middle of the field to the extent of those guys getting to the quarterback. It's good to see guys like that. We didn't see Justin Sturdad this past year. I was very critical of his last game, but I was very encouraged of this game from him when he was playing out there. So it was a thing for me that he needed to get those reps to get better as a linebacker. I think that he's a better coverage linebacker than Josie Jewell. I think he's a better coverage linebacker than Alexander Johnson. But that being said, I thought, you saw Patrick Surtain here, something that we can go into. You saw Patrick Surtain sticking in the outside corner. I've been texting you this week saying that I think that is if he's on the second team. But I think what you're going to see this year is you're going to see him a lot in the nickel and dime, covering the middle of the field and trying to neutralize the tight end. I think that's what you're going to see a lot from him this year, and I think you're going to see him get exposed. Not saying that Patrick Surtain's a good player, and a lot of people, I just want to address this real quick. I liked the player coming out of college. Did I think he was in the number one corner? No. I had Caleb Farley and J.C. Horn at as my top 2 corners in this draft. That is who I had because they had the makeup speed and they had the hip fluidity to play in all 3 positions, outside and in the slot. Patrick Surtain is a better boundary corner than a slot corner. I've been on that. I've been saying that since day one. I think Patrick Surtain has the mindset and the tackling and the outside corner, the boundary corner ability to be a solid corner in this league. But would I have taken him at number, 10 overall? No, because you had Rashawn Slater, you had Zaven Collins, Jamie Davis, all those guys available. So that's the cap that I've been saying for months.
Yeah, so when the defensive linemen come in and attack your quarterback at the snap of the ball, you think about that. You think about that. When they can't handle the top tier defensive linemen, your offensive line, and all you do is point the finger at the quarterback. I mean, could you really blame Locke for taking those sacks? I mean, it was not even a chance. And that shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening. And that's what I'm worried. We're going to see that when the first team, what happened in Minnesota? When the first Minnesota defense was against, defensive line was up against Broncos offensive line. It was a turnstile. And the Vikings, they forced our, don't look here, don't see anything here, media, when it comes to offensive line, to address it. Shermer, not a problem. Don't. Then now what is it? They got Bowles coming out saying all kinds of grandiose things. I don't know. I think some Glasgow. Oh yeah, everything's good. Yeah, no problems. Well, you haven't faced anybody yet. Of course, there's no problem.
And you're still getting pushed, Graham Glasgow and Lloyd Cook. Still getting pushed, defensive linemen.
So yeah, I think that
it's Tay Moody getting pushed back on a frequent basis like those 2 players. Why can't we start Tay Moody? He's younger. Yeah. He's more stronger than Graham Glasgow. Let me ask you this, and this is just hypothetically speaking. If you were going to do this, and I want to get your opinion on this, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Would you put Graham Glasgow at center and put Tay Moody at right guard?
Well, compared to Cushenberry, I guess.
I mean that I would do it. I mean, I don't like neither player, Glasgow or Cushenberry, but that would maximize the interior of the offensive line to a degree that can help springboard the running game, that can help springboard the passing game to some degree. Not having Lloyd Cushenberry and Graham Glasgow, when I went back and watched the Detroit film, he was a better center than a guard before they got Frank Ragnow, the best center in the league, in my opinion. That's why they let Graham Glasgow go, because they didn't need him anymore because they had Frank Ragnow. Why didn't you put him at center? He's a better center than a guard. That's been known in the Detroit media that I went back. The Detroit message boards were saying that he's a better center than a guard.
Well, the question is, I'll answer your question. Who paid him?
Yeah. He's still in the Elway.
Elway paid him. So when Elway says, I'm paying him to do this, you don't move him. Even though it makes more sense, it makes a whole lot more sense to play. Put him. Muti probably will end up taking his spot. But if what's going to be interesting is if Cushenberry is turned into Pushenberry, like pushing back Barry, we'll see if they do what the Detroit did. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think that's what I would do personally. I don't get it. I think another player that has been standing out, and you've brought him up in the game film, is that tight end Schulbert or whatever his name is.
Schulbert, yeah.
I think that he's been playing very well as that blocking tight end, and I think he does have some skill set in the passing game too. So I've been really impressed by that tight end that you brought up in the game film.
Well, he seems to be a part of the first team, getting first team reps too.
with
Oh,
that block.
I was at my mother's watching the game, and they said he played somewhere else, and I haven't looked into him. So I wanted to see that. Where did he play? Played somewhere. Then came to the Broncos. And that's what the Broncos need. They need to go to places where they're strong in certain areas. Like if you have interior linemen, you got an up and coming guy. Instead of, here's the problem with Elway. He sees names, but he doesn't have the staff around him or the sense, I guess, to say, hey, let's take a look and see who the up and comers are. People that are going to end up getting cut because the room is so filled. And let's see if we can take a chance and maybe we can develop those guys. Because they really haven't had the chance to really get developed. They become even better than the starters that they were cut for. But they don't have that mentality. That's called building. Especially with offensive linemen and stuff like this. I haven't seen anything except for your Myers. Moody, and then Myers.
Yeah. And Myers, and that's another thing. Myers is a guy that is yeah, he's not a big name, but he's a guy that is very good at his job. He just needed more reps, and I think that's a guy that I think down the line can be a very damn good player for this team if given the opportunity once Elway's gone.
If you develop him,
and do I believe in Mike Munchak? I do. I think he's one hell of an offensive line coach. People have their reservations, but I think that's a guy that Mike Munchak and Chris Cooper, who nobody's talking about. Chris Cooper, one of the best assistant offensive line coaches in the National Football League, former Denver Bronco guard. And Chris Cooper's Mike Munchak's a reason why he's Chris Cooper's second right hand is Chris Cooper's Mike Munchak's second right hand. You have two solid offensive line coaches, and I believe this strongly. If Elway was gone, could you imagine the type of players that if they were able to bring in, like a Quentin Nelson, if Elway wasn't here, a Dalton Reisner, a Natane Moody, Quentin Miners? Could you imagine that interior offensive line with those 3-4 players? You can have Quentin Nelson at your left guard. You can have Miners as your center. You have Dalton Reisner as your right guard. Oh my Lord! Oh my God! Could you imagine? That would be insane. You have Natane Moody as your swing guard. Goodness gracious! You can have Natane Moody. You can have Natane Moody starting, or you could trade Natane Moody for a solid right tackle, or to trade Natane Moody for some solid player. Like that's what good organizations do. They supplement offense, defensive lines, linebackers, all that, and the depth they have. They can either utilize it or they can trade it for certain pieces. I have a GM mindset, and so that's how I view building an organization. You continue to put building block after building block after building block in certain places that are known to win NFL games, like the offensive and defensive lines.
Now, this is the question to ask. This is the question here. This is going to go over the head of those who talk about quarterbacks all day long. You mentioned this. I guarantee you there's only a handful of people that what you were talking about with Glasgow being a center, right? Glasgow being a better center. Sure, there's a handful. I don't know if anybody on our channel, but a handful of people that actually know that. And they're probably voices in the dark, right?
Yep.
Now, my question is, and you have to ask this, is you got rid of your center that was doing you really well. Parsons went to Paradis. Matt Paradis. So you get rid of Matt Paradis. You have a void there. You end up finally getting Glasgow, who, if your scouting department, remember your scouting department doesn't just look at rookies. Your scouting department looks at current players on rosters, okay? How come they missed the fact what you brought up when you are missing the center so important? If you want, I don't understand I wish the obsession, just a tenth, even maybe a quarter of this obsession of quarterbacks would go to the offensive line. Instead, it's this. It's this all the time with the offensive.
You've 6 years.
Say that again.
You've heard it for 5-6 years.
Here we go again. I mean, that's what I said. When Glasgow's chirping out, Bowles is chirping out, Shermer's saying, nothing to see here. We're going on 6 years of that. Instead of doing what you did, moving these people into key positions. And on top of doing that, you went with this 3 wide receiver set. Maybe if you had a full-fledged New England type, Kansas City type, when it's healthy, offensive line, maybe you get away with something like that with a new. Oh, it doesn't matter. We don't care about the quarterback. It's all the system. We get another. Aaron Rodgers will come. So that's the mentality that me and you speak out against. And so I guess that's kind of a take I have.
Well, go back a few points there. You talked about the 3 wide receiver sets. You saw that in the game in Seattle with Drew Lock. And look what happened. Like, you didn't. A good organization like the Colts, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Ravens surround the quarterback with players and coaches to succeed. They stick to a system. They understand that system, and they formulate a system to bring out the best out of all those players. And we don't have that here at the Denver Broncos. We have a turnstile of offensive coordinators.
Let me ask you, just based off of preseason, remember were an advocate for this. By looking at what they're doing with the offense, does it look like it has any identity whatsoever, or does it look like they're taking spaghetti and throwing it up against the wall?
I think they have identity in one aspect. I think that's if they run the Mike Munchak and Rich Scangarello offense, you know what you're going to get. If you're going to run those 3 wide receiver sets, the souped-up Mike McCoy version, not the Andy Reid version, they have no identity. They have no idea what they're doing. The quarterbacks get killed. The offensive line gets pushed back at will. They don't have help. I was trying to voice that off of the rooftop by the rooftops with the whole 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets to help out the offensive line. Everybody thought I was queuing on and crazy. So, I want to address something real quick with the comment by Richie, I believe, our commenter, because he said that I knew the fullback. I would know better about that whole situation. I think he's right with that fullback. I do like that fullback. I forgot his name. I don't like him.
Yes. No, I know what you're talking about. I was wondering what your take was, because I even put in there, I think this is a good take for Colby.
That fullback that he was talking about, not Andrew Beck, the other one, I think that he did I think he's done a phenomenal job. I think he's an Andy Janovich type player who and Richie, hold on to your horses here, and this might surprise you that they'll probably put on the practice squad or cut. They're going to put Andy Janovich there. I'm just letting you know, I do like the player that you were mentioning, but in this current regime in the Denver Broncos, they're not going to keep a player like that. You saw that with Andy Janovich, and look what happened. They traded him to the Browns for a 7th round pick.
So here, I got to tell you this. You think I'm old, right? My mother's 97. Okay. So she says to me, I said something about Elway, and she said, Elway's not on isn't with the team anymore. Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory, Mom. He's got a full-time job at the Broncos.
QAnon right here.
I know. I can't. My mom should say that again.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, Mom, it's QAnon. Oh God, you just can't win.
You can't with these people. So I don't comment. They're just ridiculous.
So I think you are right about one thing. I think that it's not that so much you're right, but it's just going to be a continuation of what they've been doing with Bridgewater. It's going to be, oh my God, banner Bridgewater, and you mark my word, they'll still start locking. And I'm like, oh my God. Bridgewater, you're going to have to come and save us at some point this season. You're going to have to be the savior. Say it again.
I guarantee you that this week they're going to name a starting quarterback, and I will bet that it's Teddy Bridgewater. I will come on here and admit that I'm a QAnon conspiracy theorist. When Drew Lock is a starting core, I will bet on it. I will come on here and spill the beans.
Colonel Clink, he caught us. You are with QAnon. Yeah. You know, I want to address something about that. That was like the dumbest. If you wanted to win an award, I mean, believe me, we get dumb, stupid comments on this channel. And I think I got Mr. Freeze right here. Yeah, there you go. You're back. But I want to say something about this whole conspiracy thing. I mean, see, the word conspiracy, that happens to people, I think, who watch too much TV, too much television. If you say conspiracy to them, it's like Linda Blair, and it's their head turns around like through The Exorcist. That's supposed to mean that I'm supposed to completely forget. But I want to give an example here. Somebody like that doesn't have any guts. They're yellow, and they're a jellyfish. Now let me put it this way. If you come out and tell me that Aaron Rodgers is conspiring with his agents and with other teams to leave the Green Bay Packers, I can respect that because that's plausible. There's something plausible about that. Okay. But when you come out, especially when you're a paid-for mainstream channel, okay, you come out and you say straight up that there is no conspiracy. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is leaving the team. He's signing the dotted line. That is pure disinformation. Pure disinformation. And that's something I don't really tolerate.
Who called bullshit on that?
You did. Oh, that's because you're with what is it?
QAnon.
QAnon. That's because you are with QAnon. You were somebody threw you. Go ahead. Somebody threw you in the QAnon bucket, and you got thrown in that bucket, so you have to be QAnon. Go ahead.
Can I address that real quick with the whole QAnon thing? I just want to say to that commenter, you're delusional. I'm trying to say this in a way that I'm respectful and nice, because I don't want to come across as hateful because, I'm a terrible person. But when you call us QAnon and yet you go back and watch our videos from the whole Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, just to bring up an example, we were the first person saying that it wasn't a shoo-in like the other outlets were saying. Were we saying it was a shoo-in that Matthew Stafford was coming to the Denver? Were we saying that the betting odds were gearing towards Denver getting Deshaun Watson? Wasn't it draft night when I said when we had our draft video, when we picked Patrick Surtain, I said that was a bullshit source, and they're coming it up. So we're not the QAnon conspiracy theorists. STR is, because they're bought and paid for, and they have talking points coming out of Dove Valley. I don't have talking points coming out here. This is just a raw review. I don't have my script here. I don't have a script here. The only thing I do have is my jug of water. I don't have a script.
Did you get an email from Elway?
No, I did get an email from Elway.
Don't pay attention to the offensive line, Teddy Bridgewater.
QAnon right there. That's QAnon.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
He doesn't exist. He isn't even part of the organization.
Part of an organization. Did you guys watch the victory speech on YouTube that the Denver Broncos put out? Where was Elway?
Right there.
Yeah, he was in Hawaii drinking his margaritas. guys watch the Denver Broncos thing when the assistant director of player personnel came out and said that how she works with Elway on the Denver Broncos website? Have you seen that yet? No, you have. You're delusional, and
it's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
It's conspiracy theorists when we bring it up, but the Denver Broncos media relations put it out there. It's not. You guys are idiots.
Well, that guy is. I think he watches too much TV and too much STR, and
Guys, profile picture, he probably plays a lot of Super Mario.
Well, we shouldn't give him credit, but just open your eyes. That's all I can say is open your eyes and see what's going on. See what's going on.
Say that it's all bad for the Denver Broncos. There's some good. Natane Moody. I thought the linebacking.
You got to say all that over again.
I think that there was a lot of good tonight. You saw Natane Moody play well. You saw the linebacking core, especially the coverage linebacking core with Justin Strnad, play decent today. But that was on a good day. Let's see how he does again in a bad day. I'm going to hold my reservations on that. I thought Patrick Surtain is an outside boundary corner, played really well again against a second-team receiver. I think Chad Stearns is starting to show that he has some game. I like the pick coming out. I like Chad Stearns coming out more than the Josh Johnson one from Indiana because I think he has too much baggage. I think Chad Stearns is a better player. Again, there's some bits and pieces. I thought both quarterbacks, Drew Lock went against criticism. He came back and took the offense down the field. I think that was good to see from Drew Lock. Yeah. I think Teddy Bridgewater looked good. So, there's some things you can take away from this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, the deal is we got to see this. This is one thing I wanted to bring up. Minnesota didn't play any starters. Maybe that was understandable. Seattle didn't. What I'm getting at is I think the Broncos actually get a leg up by running these guys. I really do. I think these guys, when it comes on week one, that they haven't done anything versus guys that have been out there at least taking some hits and getting out there and getting some real football under their legs. I think it's going to show.
Good point.
I don't know. Are the Giants also, putting out starters too? Maybe that'll be a feather in the Broncos' cap that they started warming up the engines.
Maybe, but I'm reservation still with this offense. I don't trust Shermer, and I don't trust this offensive line. I still don't because there's still issues on the right side of the offensive line. I think Dalton Reisner's had a really good training camp and really good preseason. A guy that I've been high on ever since we've drafted him. I think him and Miners and Moody are the guys I've been high on. Not Bowles. Bowles got beat again today. Nobody's gonna talk about that. He got beat. He got beat today.
Yeah. I'd like to go through the game film. I got so much on my plate now. You don't even know. It's when you're QAnon, right? QAnon.
Yep.
When you're QAnon.
We got the QAnon dog.
Oh, they're your DARPA dog.
Yep, my DARPA dog.
There you go. There's QAnon right there. When you're QAnon, you got your itinerary is full. I'm telling you, it's just you need 5 secretaries just to get through the day.
Here's a little secret from my QAnon brethren. Teddy Bridgewater's gonna start.
Oh,
gotta love it.
I know. If I wasn't so tired, I was going to really laugh about all this stuff, but I'm just so tired right now. It was a late night. It was a hard day, and I've been working like a dog. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was definitely. I always told you that. You remember, I would say to you, and I know you must have thought, why does he say all this weird stuff like the Crown Vic and working at the gas station stuff? Because I'm telling you, these people are they cook up, they cook
Dude,
up
they actually believe something like that too.
Dungeons and Dragons, and you know, I got even more respect for Chicken Little than I do for Mr. QAnon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do like the Chicken Little. I mean, I love that. I use that as my nickname for a little bit there at work and, you
Yeah.
know, my personal life. So my lady friend called me Chicken Little. So
Chicken Little, she liked that too. The Chicken Little,
yeah, she loved
Chicken Little. It's too funny.
it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, like I said, I'm sure they'll blow Bridgewater up to the limit. I did like what Bridgewater did. Don't get me wrong, but one thing I've only knocked was, and was I'm sure you could put the whole offense in on the blame, not just Bridgewater, but was the too many fourth downs for my liking for against the second team.
I think I'm gonna ask you this real quick before we get off here. To maximize this offense's potential, and let's just say they run the, I don't know, let's just say they run the Rich Gangrel. Let's say they surprise us this year, hypothetically speaking. To maximize an offense like that, and I know that I don't want to say this, but what quarterback would maybe give you that best opportunity to maybe challenge those upper echelon teams? I'm asking you.
Which quarterback? Well, Drew Lock took the top off of one. Uh, I'll tell you what, those upper echelon teams, I would give it to Locke because if that offensive line starts to break down, I don't think I'm sorry, I don't think Bridgewater is going to stand a chance. I think it'll be like Carolina if
Okay.
this offensive line turns out to be bad again on the right side. This is from the center all the way over to the right side.
I think, in my personal opinion, and I just want to put this out there, I think that the only reason I give it to Locke is because I think that he has the requisite arm talent and I think he has the requisite mobility to be able to avoid those sacks if given the proper opportunity to do so.
Well,
If that makes
if the offense, excuse me, if the offensive line is as bad as it could be, the only thing he's going to be able to do is throw it away.
and get injured again like we saw last year.
Well, they got him injured, but think about this for a second. If the center all the way over to the right tackle is bad, as a defensive coordinator, what happens if you say, well, okay, we have three guys that can go ahead, we can take care of that side, but we're going to double up on Bowles and Reisner. We're going to come at you that way, where we got at least somebody. Go ahead.
As a defensive coordinator, I would be attacking that right side of the field to the full extent. That's what you saw when the Chicago Bears came here in Denver and just obliterated Garrett Bowles because they knew he was a weak link on the Broncos offensive line. As a defense coordinator, I attack that right side of the offensive line as much as possible because I know that's the weak link of this offensive line. You really think Bobby Massey's going to last 18 games on this Broncos team? You really think that Graham Glasgow is going to be able to survive 18 games? He was hurt last year too. So no, I mean,
I'm definitely not impressed with Massey. I'll tell you that right now. I now I see what Orlando Franklin was seeing.
I knew that before Orlando Franklin was seeing that. I'm like, why'd you bring in this guy when you could have got a Dennis Kelly, who did really damn well with the Titans? Yeah, he's not an upper echelon right tackle, but he's a damn solid right tackle that you need.
Could he be an up and comer?
No, he's 32. He's 32, but let me just say this: from what I saw with the tape in Tennessee, if we were running that same type of offense here, I would feel more comfortable with that signing. But you bring in Bobby Massey, He's old. He's past his prime. He sucks.
Well, the other guy's old. He's 32.
Yeah, he actually stayed healthy for 16 games last year in the right system and the right organization who had a prop. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I've already gone.
I think that's your point. I think if you're going to bring an older guy in, you would have rather had that older guy than Massey.
Yeah, because his track record, Dennis Kelly, from what I know, his track record isn't as bad as Bobby Massey's and Jawan James.
I see a name out there.
You could say he's 30. You could say that he's 32 years old, but from my point of view, if I'm going to bring in a veteran, I would bring in a Dennis Kelly. I would have, something like that, to at least bring some stability there, and then you could do a Jake Coughlin type thing. Remember him when he went to Tennessee, when he learned under that great right tackle, like you've been mentioning for years. You could have got Dennis Kelly in free agency, then drafted a Rashawn Slater, taught him the right tackle position. Oh my! And then you could have had your right tackle for the next 10, 15 years.
I know that's thinking like a GM and not thinking like a quarterback-obsessed fan.
That's what I meant by that. But nope, I'm crazy. I'm a QAnon supporter. I'm a QAnon man.
I'm a man, QAnon man. And I just don't understand. It's just comical. I don't understand where you make a connection from Broncos football to QAnon.
You can't. You can't.
Yeah, that was a good one. Like I said, you drive a Crown Vic, a fake cut. You got to say that again.
I work at the 7-Eleven down the street.
Yeah, drive your fake police car down there with your DARPA dog. It's not even a real.
My DARPA dog.
Well, it's not even a real dog. It just has a shepherd head on.
Yeah, it's a poodle.
The poodle. That's why I would say all that stuff to you, because I just, you get some crackpot. But,
it's comical.
But, it's YouTube. What do you expect? You're going to get some,
It's stupid.
We probably cross-dress.
You're probably a father in real life too. That's probably something they're going to start saying.
I'm surprised that nobody's come out and said something like that. I kind of was expecting something like that. Well, he got the old man his son.
Yeah, the only thing that's been close to that is Papa Bear, and all that whole thing, WizKid or the wannabe rapper.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, we're a magnet for idiots. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The funny thing is it'd be funny it would be interesting if some of these people actually go after the mainstream. Oh, I can't do that. They're so popular. I'm so popular.
They'll be calling to like little show or something to hit that. Call in, eat it.
Okay, here you go. You're gonna have to say that all over again. You were cutting out.
I said if those people were to call into the mainstream media, they would get the time. If me and you were to call in, we'd get hung up on.
What do you mean the offensive line is weak on the right side?
That sucks. That sucks. It sucks to suck. I mean, it sucks to suck, buddy. That right side's been atrocious for how long? Since Louis Vasquez and Orlando Franklin? Oh my God, when was that? 2013. We haven't had a good center since Matt Paradis. How long ago was 2015?
That's why you get rid of him. That's why you get rid of him.
Those hip problems are just a detriment to Matt Paradis. Yeah, he's playing a lot of games in Carolina and being a solid center.
Oh, you're gonna get it from the Teddy Bridgewater people. They're gonna say no, he was not a solid center. Carolina had the
Okay,
worst.
that sucks for them because that just sucks. That sucks. I mean, what do you want me to say to that stupid comment? I mean, I'm not going to say anything to people that are going to say that shit. I'm sorry. You can blow flowers up my ass all you want with this offensive line, but the offensive line in Carolina with Matt Paradis and Tyler Moton, who they just paid 6 years, and the offensive line in Kansas City, and they're not going to bring up the offensive line in New Orleans either. Subject we don't talk about on this channel is the offensive line when Teddy Bridgewater was 10-0 as the starter. 10-0.
Well, that's my point, and for both quarterbacks, I feel I'm not as worried about the quarterback position as a lot of these people are. I think it's an O line, it's a D line. I think that's where the Broncos are right now. I wasn't impressed actually with the D line for the Broncos. They got a strip sack, they got all that, but it was a coverage sack.
Oh my God! What did we say about Draymond Jones last year? Coverage sacks.
Coverage sack. What did Chad Brown? It wasn't us. What did Chad Brown say tonight? What did he say?
He's on our channel. He's a QAnon too.
Chad Brown is QAnon?
Yeah, probably. Chad Brown is.
Thanks for that update.
Yep.
I'm trying to keep all the agents straight.
Put him at bay. You know why I'm worried about the quarterback position? You know why I'm worried about it? And this is just because something like this can ruin a team in a way that can make them suck more than they can suck. And the reason I is because there's a lot of dysfunction if you have a quarterback competition between two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. But that doesn't explain what I'm going to explain here. It explains the point that I'm trying to make. There's dysfunction in this organization. There's dysfunction. Yeah, we can't freaking quarterback, man. We can't stick to it, develop a system with the guy like Josh Allen and Brian Dable and Sean McDermott. We can't do that here in the Denver Broncos, and that's what I mean. There's so much dysfunction over the past 5, 6, 7 years that we've had the same old shit in 2017 with Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch. We've already played this over again.
Here's the thing. You're talking about quarterbacks, see. And what was your golden rule? Why are we talking about this? Because we can't get serious and address the line. I realize there's a lot of people out there that think this is what it isn't. Both sides. The lines are like a clock. If you think about a clock, you read the time, right? That's the purpose. Now wait. Both lines are the actual motor of that clock. You can have the most beautiful face of the clock. You can have the most beautiful hands, the glass work, all this wonderful clock. But if that motor isn't working right, what does it all mean? Because your time is all off. It doesn't work. Yeah. So nobody got excited about drafting linemen. They act like it. Oh, we have Draymond Jones. Nobody is talking about, well, we got to have, are we deep in the offensive line? Are we deep in the defensive line? Your quarterback problems will take care of themselves. With these two that they got, could take care of themselves. You want to go fishing for a Justin Fields or whatever, fine. But you got to start get serious with these lines.
I agree 100%. Can I just ask you this? Didn't we have the same praising of the offensive line last preseason?
Yeah, in the preseason before it.
Yeah. So what am I? And that's both lines, not just offensive line, defensive line too. Didn't we have the praise of both offensive and defensive lines? And look what happened when we got to Tennessee. They kicked the shit out of us. Look what happened when we went to Tampa, with Pittsburgh, all that shit. They kicked the shit out of us. So why, again, not taking anything away from these freaking preseason games. I'm looking at technique work. Who's gotten better? Who's regressed? I'm looking at that. That's what my eyeballs are looking at. Not just, oh my God, the offense is freaking scoring 30 points in the preseason against second stringers. But they did this. They did somewhat that last year. But why am I getting my hopes up with, oh my freaking God, we are beating up against second string against the Vikings and the Seahawks. We won 30-3 tonight. Oh my God, the same exact scores last week. Oh my God. We're going to do that against Pittsburgh, and we're going to do that against the Chiefs, the Chargers. No, we won't.
Well, hopefully they can compete, but the lines, I'm very skeptical about the lines. Very skeptical.
Okay, yeah, we can compete, but I want to win. I want to win. This is what this organization was about under Pat Bowlen. Win, not just compete. Win. Win, baby. Win. Receivers. God, oh my God, we are competing against the Chargers. We are competing. We're competing. I want to win. I want to go to the playoffs. I want to go to the Super Bowl, man. Sick of this 4-12, 4-5-11 bullshit. I want to win. I want to be the best organization in the National Football League. 9-8. Oh, yeah, we competed for that 9-8 record. We competed to get Aaron Rodgers. That's why we went 9-8. No. That sucks because we're not going to get him.
Now you know where I'm coming from.
This bullshit. Oh my God, compete. Oh yeah, we're going to compete. We're going to compete. Okay, yeah, we're going to compete against the Giants, Jets, and Jaguars. Woohoo! 9-8. Oh my God, we competed so hard for that. We need a competition trophy.
Oh, you do get a trophy. You get Aaron Rodgers.
That sucks because he's going to go somewhere else, like the Saints or the Colts or somewhere else. That sucks. You're all you feel good Kool-Aid drinkers. Your hopes and dreams are going to be destroyed when Elway sticks it to us like Stafford and Tom Brady.
When Aaron Rodgers sticks it.
Yeah, when Aaron Rodgers, like, you remember when Stafford and Brady did it to us? Rodgers is going to be the third. Oh, Elway competed it, or George Payton and Elway competed to get Aaron Rodgers. Oh yeah, they competed for him. Here we go. 9-8. Oh my God, we're just a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. Yet we don't have a defense.
Just one QB.
When you have an offensive line like
you have to say all that again. You broke up.
Do we have the same offensive line like Tom Brady does in Tampa? Do anybody know who Alan Marpet is? Ryan Jensen, Tristan Wirfs. Do we have linebackers like Devin White and Levante David, Sue, Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett? Oh, remember Shaq Barrett?
No. Tom Brady made them. Tom Brady made all of them.
Oh my God, yeah. Tom Brady, not Bruce Arians, not the GM, not the owner, just Tom Brady. Yep. He made that. He brought in Alan Marpet. He brought in Ryan Jansen. He brought in Tristan Wirfs. Yeah, okay. He drafted Tristan Wirfs. Bullshit. Yeah. He signed Antoine Winfield Jr., one of the best free safeties in the game. Yeah, okay. He drafted Vita Vea, who was already there. He drafted Alan Marpet, who was already there. Dude, this whole thing just is bull. Yeah, okay. So if he went to the Colts, he drafted Quentin Nelson.
He raised the ships.
He raised. Okay. The defense didn't have anything to do with that. Not the Tampa Bay defense who.
Look at my rings. Look at my rings.
That's
That's all you need to know. Anything else is just conspiratorial stuff.
got you to the Bulls, Brady. You forgot about Belichick. You forgot about Bruce Arians. You forgot about the defenses that they surrounded you with. You forgot the receivers that they surrounded you with. Did you forget about the offensive lines that they surrounded you with?
Special teams.
Oh, yeah, special. Oh, yeah. You had two solid in-place owners there, too. You had scouters. You had developmental people. Don't remember that, do you?
I know me and you beat our head against the wall with this stuff, but how did the special teams for the Broncos look to you?
Trash.
It should be kind of worrisome too. Again.
Oh, who was singing that to the rooftops, huh? Me and you. Oh, special teams isn't important. That's why we drafted Caden Stearns and Josh Johnson and brought in Mike Boone for special teams. Oh, Mike Boone's hurt. How's that going to help your special teams?
Hey, just bring in Aaron Rodgers and he'll punt.
Oh, and he'll kick too.
Yeah, he'll kick.
Okay, and he'll play gunner. He'll play gunner. He'll run down the field and tackle too. Aaron frickin' Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, he does it all. He does it all. He raises the ships.
Yep, not Matt LaFleur in that offensive line, and not that. Okay. Good God, I love it.
All right. Yeah. We did. We were actually positive. We're just getting a little
Getting
feisty
back
here.
ourselves.
Say it again.
We're getting back into our regular selves here.
Yeah, we're getting back to being grumpy old men, except for you, Chicken Little.
It's okay, Papa Bear.
Yeah. All right. Shall we go ahead and give it a see what? Well, we got a non.
I'm gonna look at the film tomorrow and see what else I've seen. You'll probably do the same thing. We'll just collaborate outside with our QAnon text messages.
Yeah, if you have any of those insights that you had, you could post them too on the video, just for other people to see it, what you saw and stuff like that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, film review is going to be kind of difficult for a little while, so.
Okay, I'll do.
I have to get that worked out. The NFL, well, first it was the NFL, now it's on my end, personal. All right.
All right, talk to you later.
Take care.
Yep.
Bye.